Each year, the YMCA of the Kanawha Valley attributes the admonition of St. Francis to an individual in the valley whose life personifies the spirit of giving. The YMCA is proud to pay tribute to this year's Spirit of the Valley recipient, Tom Heywood. Ask anyone who knows him to describe him, and this is likely to be the first thing you'll hear.
Tom was always one of the brightest people around, and yet he had no ego for it.
Tom Heywood is the single smartest person I've ever known. His intelligence is off the chart, but what makes it so special is his ability to synthesize different information strands and put them together in a way that is actually simple to understand.
He comes by it honest. His father, Donald L. Heywood, was a PhD chemist whose career with carbide led to the Kanawha Valley. Tom's mother, Jacqueline, grew up in Jackson County in Kanawha and worked in the HR department of carbide. Don liked to tell people that he married the first woman he met in Charleston. Son Tom was their first carbide kid, born December 6, 1956. 2 years later, sister Julie arrived. The elementary school years were spent at Overbrook, then on to John Adams Middle School and George Washington High School. Education was important in the Heywood family, and so was being involved in the community. His mom was active in the League of Women Voters and several other groups. When Tom was in high school, she went back to college to get her degree at what was then Morris Harvey. The family home was 827 Beaumont Road. Later, the family moved to Parkwood Road. But time there was short-lived, as Don was transferred to California just before Tom's senior year of high school. The family moved to the West Coast, but Tom chose to stay, living with his grandmother so that he could finish high school in the Kanawha Valley. A self-described amateur athlete, Tom ran track and cross country, played a mean game of church league basketball, and won a state championship in chess. It's no surprise he excelled in the classroom.
I first knew that Tom was genuinely special and different when we shared a high school English class. It was senior advanced placement English, and I think I was reading some American author. And Tom was doing his paper on Thomas Mann. Hemingway's short stories were about all I could handle. He was reading The Magic Mountain, 715 absolutely impenetrable pages.
The teacher who taught that English class remembers Tom well.
I knew those many years ago that Tom was an exceptional young man. I remember so well this tall, lanky, 16-year-old boy walking into my advanced placement class with a copy of Plato's Republic peering out of his hip pocket. During class, his long legs extended into the circle. He was quiet, unassuming, deeply immersed in thought. He and Plato were altogether compatible.
Out of high school in 1974, it was off to Stanford for a degree in international relations with a minor in economics. After graduating from Stanford, Tom took the GMAT as well as the LSAT and worked a year in the insurance industry while deciding what direction to go. A summer spent in a San Francisco law firm solidified it. Law appealed to him, and the son of a Yale grad chose Harvard Law School to pursue his degree. During his second year, a friend from GW joined him in the law school.
Tom has, many great traits, but for me, his single best trait is his devotion to friends and family. It's obvious that he has given an incredible amount to the community and to his law firm and to the political establishment in the state of West Virginia. But Tom Heywood always has time for his friends and always has time for his family, and he's just a tremendously sensitive, giving person.
Harvard is where Tom met a young, bright Vermonter who was also studying law.
Well, it was finals of our first year. John and I remember we were in the library studying for property law, and Tom was in there trying to study for a labor law class or something, and John and I went and grabbed Tom and made him come and explain some weird nuance of property law to us. And I remember thinking he had a very nice voice, a little teeny bit of a southern lilt. And then shortly after exams, we went to see Casablanca at the Harvard Square Theater. I think it was the first time I had ever seen it. And it was all over from there.
Tom did a clerkship while Melody finished school, and the two of them married on June 4th, 1983. The two Harvard grads could have gone anywhere. Seattle almost won out. But the siren call of home and the friendships he'd made here won out.
His friendships in Charleston are some of the most powerful and long-lasting friendships I've ever encountered. And I think those friendships, just the nature of the people in West Virginia, in Charleston, really are important to him. And I think he wanted to be here. He had wonderful memories, he had great friends here, and he wanted to do something good. So he felt he could do that here.
Tom joined Bowles-Rice in 1983, and one of his accounts was McDonough-Caperton, where he caught the attention of the firm's CEO, Gaston Caperton. When Gaston was elected governor, he wanted Tom on his team and relied on Tom's leadership often.
Every day. Every day. He's not a person, he's not he's a serious person, but he's not a formal person. And he knows how to laugh, and he knows how to get to the point and clearly state it. He's amazing that way.
First, he was general counsel to Governor Caperton, and later, chief of staff. It was a turbulent time. The state was unable to pay its bills. Teachers marched for a raise. Workers' comp was financially unstable. Leaders are forged in such fires.
Tom's leadership skills begin and end with the word character. One of the social sins in life is knowledge without character, and we all knew Tom was smart with a Harvard degree and a degree from Stanford. Tom had the knowledge, but we soon found out Tom had the character to go along with that, and that really exemplifies Tom's leadership skills.
I think one of his great successes is he makes people that work with him successful. And he's very modest and very strong at the same time.
He's had a lot of opportunities to work with different groups of people, and he certainly has a knack to finding the common ground.
Tom worked for Caperton's administration until April of 1993. Then he returned to Bowles-Rice. In 2008, he was named its managing partner. Through it all, he and Melody raised 3 children, now adults, Michael, Stephen, and Lindsay.
Tom is a very loving father. It's sort of a standing joke among the family with our 3 grown children. Is one of his favorite lines is, "Have I ever told you that I love you?" And they roll their eyes, they go, "Yeah, Dad," But I recognize that not every person, every father is comfortable doing that. So they have no doubt that he loves them.
His love for the Kanawha Valley and for West Virginia is manifest in his service on more charitable and nonprofit boards than anyone can count. And on all of these, Tom serves in a leadership role. Tom was once quoted as saying he spends a third of his time practicing law, a third of his time running the firm, and a third of his time in community service. But he also finds time to run. He still reads voraciously, about 50 books a year, several newspapers daily, and The Economist weekly. And if all that isn't enough, he's also a talented piano player. even taking lessons as an adult. How he finds time to do it all is a mystery.
I think secretly there are 5 Tom Heywoods, and he's kept the other 4 from us, so they can all be at different places at the same time. That's the only thing I can think of. Plus, none of them sleep.
He's one of those people that everybody trusts, and there are very, very few of them. And all sides can't agree on anything, but they can agree on Tom Heywood being the moderator. He's the one person that you can trust every time to be absolutely fair to all parties.
Tom has a great passion for the state of West Virginia and for the people of West Virginia. He's always trying to find ways and looking for ways to make West Virginia a better place. Tom certainly had opportunities all over this country when he came back home to West Virginia, and we're pleased to have him, and he shares that passion with many, many people in West Virginia.
Well, there's not anybody like Tom. He's brilliant, he's concise, he's a person you can always trust, and also a great person to enjoy. He's got it all.
I think Tom was selected for Spirit of the Valley because he believes so deeply in the potential of this city and this valley and this state. It is a passion for him that this community do well and that everyone in it thrive.
The YMCA of the Kanawha Valley is pleased to present the 2017 Spirit of the Valley Award to Tom Heywood.